One quote that goes against each main character personality. The major characters from The Handmaid's Tale frequently have insightful things to say, yet occasionally what they say is out of the ordinary. Viewers comprehend how and why June became the vicious and courageous rebel she is now as they see her struggle with Serena in Season 5 of The Handmaid's Tale. She suffered a great deal of trauma in Gilead, and in order to survive, she had to pose as an obedient handmaid before applying for asylum in Canada. The words she used, some of which were known to be out of character for June, best demonstrate this. However, June wasn't the only character to voice viewpoints that went against who they were. Serena and Aunt Lydia are two supporters of Gilead who have made anti-government statements. However, other survivors, like Moira, put their hope aside in order to recognize the terrible truth of the situation. I've learned that he likes it when I flirt. June Osborne, Faithful, Season 1, Episode 5. The quotes continue, "And I like it when he lets me win. We're a match made in heaven." The remark, which was first used in the first season, initially showed June as a passive handmaid who was merely following orders and succumbing to Gilead's philosophy. But as she continues to get close to Commander Waterford, it becomes clear that she was cunningly looking for a means to win his favor in the hopes of being let free. She spoke these remarks in voiceover while also describing their covert meetings when they played Scrabble and conversed in his office. It's a huge change from the irate June that viewers are used to from later seasons. As June's hatred for Fred mounted, so did the number of characters in The Handmaid's Tale who came close to passing away yet survived. Thank you. I won't forget your help. Serena Joy Waterford, Women's Work, Season 2, Episode 8. Serena rarely compliments people that are superior to her, much less a woman. She did, however, treat June well in a few instances. And it didn't always happen just when June was carrying her child. In this case, Serena decided to create a proposal to present to the commanders after understanding that Gilead required some adjustments. She had no assistance, though, because she was acting covertly. She used June's prior experience as an editor to her advantage and afterward expressed her gratitude. I wish I could give you a world without violence, without pain. Aunt Lydia Clements, After, Season 2, Episode 7. The flashback episode concerning Aunt Lydia Clements' life before Gilead showed that she wasn't always nasty. She was deeply committed to the group, though, and she thought that even harming other people could be an acceptable means to an objective. In The Handmaid's Tale, she supported all of the laws that were the most horrifying. However, Aunt Lydia's voice radiated justice and compassion as she talked. However, they also arrived after she saw a number of handmaids executed for their sins, which she thought was a justifiable punishment. Knowing this makes the statement seem less sincere and caring. No woman was ever rich enough, young enough, pretty enough, good enough. Fred Waterford, Faithful, Season 1, Episode 5. This statement initially gives the impression that Commander Waterford was disparaging males who were never content with one lady and were constantly seeking out more. However, whatever Commander Waterford said that it even the appearance of being decent and honest went against who he really was. The irony in Fred's statement about the old world and how men were never content and dealt with made-up problems, for instance, is that he truly meant it. But even though he had a loving wife, he still went to Jezebel's, a hidden location in Gilead where high-ranking commanders and other officials gathered to satisfy their urges for pleasure and interact with women who were forced to serve as prostitutes. The comment gives the impression that Fred thought the society he established would solve issues like men's inability to be content with just one woman. But it appears that Gilead is still very much plagued by those problems. Given how many female enemies he made along the road, it's interesting that Fred's death was one narrative element from The Handmaid's Tale that viewers didn't predict. You have a beautiful daughter, Mrs. Putnam. Janine Lindo, Ballet, Season 5, Episode 2. When Janine first arrived in Gilead, her eye was hurt because she was never one to hold back her feelings or comments. Janine struggled to cope with the situation after that and fell into a deep mental state of distress. Even worse, she was made to fall pregnant under duress and surrender her daughter to the Putnams for adoption. When she saw the small toddler for the first time in a long time, She spoke these remarks to Commander Putnam's wife Naomi about her own biological daughter Angela. Considering that Janine went through with the birth and ceremony, the statements were totally at odds with her usual disposition. Janine would do anything to win Angela back, but she was able to contain her feelings and control her mouth in order to speak. Which season is your favorite? Leave a comment. These 10 Quotes channel videos are some you should watch next. Check them out as well. The links for these videos are listed in the description below. We're Being Stupid. Nick Blaine, Jezebels, Season 1, Episode 8. Nick, one of the Handmaid's Tale's best supporting actors, was consistently cool-headed and devoted to Gilead, even though he didn't always agree with their strategies. "You know we're being silly," he continued. "It's just too risky." He rarely ran from danger and was always prepared to take the necessary action. Thus, this line was uncharacteristic of him, but it also revealed how deeply Nick cared for and desired to be with June. He wasn't prepared to risk his safety or forfeit all he had in order to do it. But even admitting that what he was doing was not a wise move went against his normally self-assured nature. Everybody's talking about happily ever after, but there's just after. Moira Strand, Unknown Caller, Season 3, Episode 5. One of the fortunate individuals who managed to flee Gilead and find sanctuary in Canada was Moira. She devoted her time there to helping those who were able to escape, reconnecting them with their families, providing them with support, and attempting to assist her friends like June in escaping to freedom. Typically, Moira was direct, honest, and upbeat. So, when she stated these remarks, it was a departure from her often upbeat, although angry, attitude. At that precise moment, she understood that even if women and children managed to flee, they would still have to live with the agony of what had occurred to them. Additionally, some may never fully recover. We don't have the proper infrastructure for unusual women to live within our borders. Commander Lawrence, Border, Season 5, Episode 3. Commander Lawrence spoke in a manner that fans might not have anticipated while they were at a meeting with the commanders and Serena Joy. Despite the fact that Serena had hinted that marriage might be advantageous for both parties, he effectively dispelled that notion with this statement. Commander Lawrence had the ability to find a means to assist Serena and did so, but he opted not to. Instead, he and the others chose to exile her to Toronto in the hopes that she would help spread the word about Gilead there. It was absolutely against Commander Lawrence's customary disposition to allow Serena the flexibility to expand its reach without first resolving the problems that arose, especially given how he often hinted to June that he was unhappy with the route Gilead had gone. Trusting anyone's dangerous, especially a carpet-munching gender traitor. Emily, Birthday, Season 1, Episode 2. It was uncharacteristic of Emily to be so open about the situation, despite the fact that the words were stated to explain the state of the world in Gilead. She had to do the ceremony with her commanders despite being a lesbian who had to conceal her sexuality. Her companion was given the death penalty and she was savagely dismembered after it was revealed that she was having an extramarital affair. Like others, Emily suffered immensely in Gilead. She was never the same even though she was able to escape. According to the most recent season, Emily tried to battle her way back to Gilead since she was unable to acclimatize to life there. Nobody would have anticipated her to make this comment given her typically soft-spoken, yet fiercely driven and highly educated demeanor. She said it out of rage and disgust at being labeled a gender traitor. That's not your child. Mark Tulow, Smart Power, Season 2, Episode 9. Even when he was kidnapping and imprisoning Serena, Mark Tulow, a representative of the U.S. government, was constantly friendly and helpful to her. Even though he disagreed with the nation of Gilead and everything it stood for, he seemed to have a soft spot for her. Therefore, when he said these things to Serena after she stated that she had a baby, it was unexpected. Obviously, Mark was speaking for himself, but for the good of the job, he frequently kept his genuine opinions to himself. However, he insulted Serena and Gilead in this situation, which was unusual for him. He continued by saying that he meant no offense, but it was obvious that he had done so in some way. Who is the villain and who is the hero of the show? Leave a comment. Do you know what are the most terrifying Gilead quotes? Watch this video and find out. More videos about your favorite TV series are coming soon. Subscribe to see more.